Hello everyone, I'm Soyun Chung from the Korea Institute of Public Administration. Today's lecture is about guidelines for the introduction of AI to the public sector. In this class, we will review what should be considered before AI is used in public administration. It is reviewed that elements in each stage of the AI introduction and the reason why they are considered. Also, concepts, checklists, and things to consider of every element are reviewed. The objectives of this class are to understand how the guideline is constructed, to understand the concepts, checklists, and factors to consider of each element, and to think about where AI could be used and apply the guideline in your field. This is the structure of this class. There are several reasons that it should be prudent when AI is introduced in the public sector. Using AI in the public sector is related to the governmental organizations, budget, human resources, etc. Also, when AI is introduced to the public sector, the range of refer effects is very wide, and the refer effects are directly influential to the public. Therefore, the effect that may occur along with the factors of consideration should be thoroughly analyzed in a multidimensional manner. This picture shows how factors of consideration are derived. Based on the research, AI introduction stages were reviewed. The complexity of data, algorithm, and decision-making, which are influential to the AI introduction, was also reviewed. And then, the factors were derived. On the left are the AI introduction stages. In the middle shows kinds of complexity. The right is the element that should be considered. In this class, it is going to be shown that guidelines for reviewing suitability for AI application in public administration. These guidelines aim to contribute to the setup of a reliable AI system. And the guideline contributes to the introduction and development of AI, considering the value of public administration. The guideline also contributes to the development of AI, considering the acceptability of citizens and administrative workers. The guideline is a compilation of 24 elements that need to be reviewed in introducing AI into the administrative field. The guidelines can be selectively applied according to the nature, characteristics, and environment of the AI to be introduced. But it is not premised that all factors must be considered at the same time. The guidelines consist of the elements, concepts, types, checklists, notes, etc. From now on, each element of the guideline will be introduced. In this class, each element is simply explained, but you can find the full version of this guideline on the slides and in your textbook. Let's start with the planning stage. In the planning of the AI introduction stage, purpose, usability, and publicity should be considered. Purpose is about what you want to introduce AI to your work for. Purpose is the first element that must be considered because it is a starting point of AI introduction. Usability is about what you expect with using AI. Publicity is about public interest using AI. Because AI is used in the public sector, publicity should be considered. Purpose, usability, and publicity are related to the decision-making. Therefore, the complexity of the decision-making process must be considered. The next stage is design. In the AI design stage, fairness and detail should be considered. Fairness means not being biased. Detail refers to the fine-grained definition of data collection. Fairness and detail should be considered with the complexity of data because fairness and detail are related to data. We have already seen several cases in which AI caused serious problems, and the main reason is related to data fairness. For detail, data cleaning is the key, and the cost of data cleaning must be included when you consider economic feasibility. In the design stage, economic feasibility, openness, stability, and convenience of modification must be considered. Economic feasibility refers to the consideration of the cost. Openness means that the code of AI is from open source and therefore transparent. Stability is related to the security of the AI system. Convenience of modification is about the possibility of immediate access to correct errors of the AI system. Economic feasibility, openness, stability, and convenience of modification must be considered with the complexity of the algorithm. The algorithm is the key for these four elements. The more complex algorithms are, the more difficult these four elements are to be satisfied. The last stage is use. In the stage of use, there are 9 elements. Data coherence means no contradictions between the values in the data. Timeliness means data is available at an appropriate time. Data flawlessness refers to no missing values in the data. Personal information safety is related to personal information protection. Confirmation possibility is related to the AI system operation record keeping. Configuration management refers to documentation of system development and modifications. Reappearance possibility refers to the reproduction of an algorithm with the same data. Universality refers to the production of universal services. Expansion possibility means the possibility of combination with other AI systems and/or technology. These 9 elements are related to data. So the complexity of data is influential to these 9 elements, and the level of data complexity should be considered with these 9 elements. Accuracy, legitimacy, and explanation possibility are related to the algorithm in the use stage. Accuracy refers to the right decision for the AI's purpose. Legitimacy means AI should comply with laws and regulations. Explanation possibility means the AI system should explain its results. Accuracy, legitimacy, and explanation possibility must be considered with the complexity level of the algorithm. Accountability, task continuity, and legal remedy are included in the use stage. Accountability means clarifying responsibility for the result produced by AI. Task continuity means that there is an alternative operation plan for the AI system. Legal remedy is related to the compensation and indemnification of the side effect. These 3 elements are related to the complexity of decision-making, and therefore the complexity of decision-making must be considered. We have reviewed the guidelines of 24 elements that we should consider before introducing AI to the public sector. These guidelines include concepts, checklists, notes, etc. of 24 elements. So you can refer to this guideline when you want to introduce AI to your work. All factors are not necessary to be considered compulsorily at the same time. You can selectively apply 24 elements according to the nature, characteristics, and environment to the AI to be introduced. Thank you very much for your listening. I hope this lecture would be helpful for you to introduce AI to your area.